Well, hiya. I missed out on the vlog for the last couple of weeks. Apologies for that. Very, very busy, and I actually managed to do one, then had problems uploading it, all that crap. So I thought I'd catch you up with everything that's been going on now. I'm going to start with the most recent events. That was this weekend, and the Canal Championship. Now, I'd like to say thank you to BakeTech for sponsoring the Canal Championship. Fantastic for them to back a competition like that. It's really big competition. We had over 70 different people fishing the qualifiers, which is fantastic. Shows a lot of people are keen to come and fish on the canal, and the fishing proved to be really good. A lot of the qualifiers saw weights up to £30. So we had, I think we ended up with 7 or 8 weights over £20, which is incredible. And I would say that especially on some of the early matches, most of the field had double figures. It was that good. Now, come the final, northeasterly wind, and we all know what happens when we get northeasterly wind. Fishing gets hard. Now, you only need to have a look at the match results on the weekend to see how hard it's got. It really has changed. And if you go out and it's like that, don't be naive to think, oh, it's been fishing well or anything like that. It will change overnight, and that's what's happened on the canal. I had a really strong feeling it wouldn't be big weights. I just couldn't see them taking that cold east wind. And I drew 198, which it's quite a strange area of the canal, really. This is going to sound a bit bizarre, but there used to be a big tree on 200 and 201. They actually cut it down during the week. And from 200 till about 206, there was another couple of big trees. And that was the best area of the canal. I don't know why, but the roach seemed to be that bigger stamp. You know, that little bit bigger. And it makes all the difference when you come to weighing in. Because when you've got, when you're fishing with, for small fish, and you're catching, say, 200 fish, you imagine if those 200 fish on average are just half an ounce bigger, you're gonna have 100 extra ounces in your net. That's a big difference, that is, come the end of the match. So it's very hard to compete when I think those pegs are the better ones. So 198 seems really close to them, but then it just seems to turn, and there's a lot of smaller fish. You've got to fish a bit of a different match. And there's several of the anglers on the canal very good at it, try to identify what's in the peg, and they target them appropriately. Now, the only plus side about being where I was at 198 is there's a lot of perch. Strangely, those sort of pegs that I've just mentioned there's not loads of perch. So, you know, you might be able to catch with a lot more fish where I am. So I set my stall out thinking that I'm going to try and target quite a few perch, because I never felt that with the roach it was going to happen properly, maybe until middle of the match at the earliest, because they just take a little while to feed. And I had a couple of lines short. I had a line at 11 metres, a line at 14 metres, and I fed some hemp. Obviously I've been catching on hemp in the recent matches. I think I won 2 matches ago and was 4th the match before, so I had two good matches on the bounce. So when they're paying money to the top 6, I just wanted to sort of concentrate on trying my best to get in the top 6, because that's where all the big money was. I mean, 600 down to £120. So, you know, you had a good chance of winning some decent money. I started short, caught a lot of perch actually. I bet I had 30 perch after 45 minutes. Now, they probably went £2. Nice start that is to any match, I think, if you're going to catch, maybe not quite £2, £1.12, a lot of small ones mixed in, but you know, I probably had 8 or 9 little dumpy ones I probably had 8 for £1, and then the other 20 odd wouldn't have quite gone £1, because a lot of them are very small, but you know, they all count, so it's definitely worth catching. I noticed now that anglers in my area were just starting to catch a few roach. I could see them catching a few roach, like I say, in this sort of hotbed area, slightly to my left, but they weren't bagging at all. They were just catching steady. So I went out and I caught some fish. And you know, I've got it in my head at the moment that I want to work hard and try and get the best out of every time I sit down fishing. I'm trying not to give up or get despondent or anything like that. And I've had a really nice match. I've caught quite a lot of fish, put a decent catch together, to be honest. And at the end of the match, I didn't count my fish, so I can't say how many I had. But I know I counted in 2 or 3 little spells to sort of see my catch rate, and I know that I'll have had over 200 fish, no doubt in my mind. Now, 200 fish in the past on the canal could have been anything from 12 to 18, 20 pound. It could have been as much as that, you know, if you get on the right fish. But it was never going to be a bigger weight as that. £9.6 I've weighed, and that actually put me 3rd in the match. So I was, you know, that's how hard it's fishing in comparison to normal. The only thing I will say is that when I was growing up, and I used to go on matches all over the place, if you caught £9 on a canal match, you'd win the match, let alone frame. You know, I remember framing in several matches on the Grand Union when there was like 200 anglers fishing and Winter League semis and things like that with £6. So I think the standard of fishing on the canal cannot be underestimated at all. It was that great. Chris Greensides won the match. He was on 204. Put in a really good performance. If you're going to draw in that area, you've got to target the decent stamp fish, and that's what he's done. He's fished casters. He's had £10.10. Chris is a very good angler. I was really pleased to see him win it. Something we try to do with the league, you know, give everybody a chance of winning that big money at the end, not just, you know, if you blow out in the league. All you got to do is qualify. That's easier said than done, I will add. You know, win a 5 or 6 peg section, you get to qualify for the final. So that was you know, that was great to see him win it. He had 10.10. Matt Godfrey had £10.8. He was 2nd in the match. He was on 206. So he had a nice net of fish, all bloodworm. Matt had all bloodworm fish. Had a few better stamp fish than me in his net. You know, maybe that was the area. Maybe he's done it slightly differently to me. Nowhere near as many perch, but I don't think there is as many perch there. So he probably had a few less fish because you can't catch them as quick when you're catching them short. But a really nice net of fish. And then Cameron Hughes, Frankie Giannicelli both had £8. I think there was ounces separating them two. They were 4th and 5th. And Oliver Scotthorne snuck in the frame 6th with £7.9. So quite a tight frame really, all in all. You know, that is hard for the canal, but we paid £100 every 5 peg section as well. Great payout. Bait Tech gave some incredible vouchers. £500 down to £100 for the top 5 in Bait Tech vouchers, and then ground bait and buckets for everybody involved in the match. So a tremendous sponsorship from them, and a really great series. If you like your canal fishing, if you like your silverfish fishing, put the effort in. We had some lads come down from Scotland. One of them managed to qualify. He came down again for the final. You know, we've had guys come from Wales. We've had guys come from as far down as South London. So, you know, if you fancy it, next year we're going to be running it again. The fishing's fantastic. There's lots of money to be won. It's probably the best natural water fishing in the country, I would say, at this time of year. That's my... Well, that's slightly biased because the rivers can be good, but canals then, I'll give it canals. Best canal in the country, no doubt about it. Certainly the best bloodworm and joker match. If you like fishing bloodworm and joker, it's not all about that though. Hemp played a massive part this year. Casters played a huge part. Bread was really strong for some anglers. An angler in the final won his section. Pete Kitwood, good friend of mine, he's had 120 fish nearly on bread. Just missed out on the frame actually. He's ever so unlucky, you know, could have quite easily framed there, but he did manage to win his section. So, you know, really, really great. Really, really was great. The other few matches I've been on over the last couple of weeks is Decoy. I'm looking forward to the Winter League final. Decoy and the Drains. I'll be in the team for Decoy with Barnsley. I've quite enjoyed it, to be honest. It's a tremendous fishery. Loads of fish. Absolutely loads of fish. First time I went was 2 weeks ago. Fished on one of the strip lakes. I think it was on Elm, peg 8. All peg for peg, so I think there was a few fish supposed to be in that area. But when it's peg for peg, you're in a right battle. Enjoyed that. Had some fish on a feeder. Fished a banjo feeder, actually. I'm not going to say too much about Decoy, so I don't give too much away for the final. But just to give you a feel of what I've been doing, I fished a banjo feeder. I caught really well. It was really interesting, to be honest. because I do like a banjo. I think it's a neat presentation, and it really did work well, to the point where I had £118 and 3 ounces, and I finished 4th in the match. But I was robbed by myself, because I actually had £123 12 ounces, but I went over in one of my nets. So because I went over in one of my nets, I got knocked back to the £50 net limit. It's really difficult when you're trying to judge. I've only ever been over twice in my life, and they were both flipping decoys. So that's just my luck, isn't it, really? So you know, by any significant amount, that's the way it goes. But it was good to frame. I was really happy to come 4th in the match, and then I went this week. Great turnout again this week. Very interesting this week. I drew on Beastie Peg 4. I was told it's got no form at all. Really, really, really poor peg. But I was prepared to go and give it a go. Started to the island, had a few liners, caught some fish on a bomb. Caught a couple of big perch and skimmers as well on the pole. And I didn't catch many fish, but I did have big uns. I had some really big fish. I think I had 5 carp, 2 F1s, 2 skimmers and a perch, which isn't a real massive catch, but it was £46 and 12 ounces. Really nice fish. I was well beaten to my right. Peg 5, Dean Smith. He's caught a really nice net of fish. There's an £80, £81. He's won the lake. Give you some idea of what it can be like winter carp fishing. He's had 17 fish, and I had 3. That was the count after about 2 hours, and then I think he only ended with 22. So you can tell how much it just, once they go, it doesn't matter what you're doing, they've gone. But they were there for him at the start. He's caught one a chuck. They just weren't there for me. That's the way it goes. He's on the end of the island, so I can understand why that peg didn't have a great deal of form. But £46 was actually 5th on the 19 pegs that were on the lake. So I was really pleased with that, to be honest. You know, in the Winter League final, if I could come 5th in my 18 peg section on that lake from a peg like that, that would be a tremendous performance. So I did learn a lot about the lake and what was going on. So I'm really looking forward to that final. So I had a couple of nice matches at decoy. I mean, I caught well over £150 in 2 matches. That's tremendous fishing, isn't it, really, for the winter? And I know a lot of other people have caught a lot of fish as well. So it's been really has been good. That sort of really caught you up on what's been going on. I've done a little bit of other bits and bobs here and there, but recently that's been the way. Got the Winter League final in 2 weeks. Not going to do a blog next week, so I'll be at the Northern Show. So if anybody's at the Northern Show, watches the blog, come over, have a chat. Always like to chat to anglers about what they've been doing. So by all means, come and see me. I'll be there both days. And then the following week, we've got the Winter League final. So I'll catch you up with a blog after the Winter League final. See you later. Cheers.